As we get started on our final segment of this Saturday, February the 2nd, 2019.
Can you believe a whole month is already gone?
April's favorite day is coming up in 12 days.
Oh, Valentine's Day? That's no bueno.
No bueno? No bueno. Okay.
I'm happy for those who participate, but...
Well, I'll be at home cooking dinner for myself. Don't need no help.
I'll be at home twiddling my thumbs. We good. Happy as a lark to be with my baby and my mama.
There you go.
All the love in the world.
That's what you gonna go with?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we were talking about those incentivizing people. I had my comeuppance years ago with an old boss of mine about, you know, what your father said
About the
car rich, house
car rich and house poor.
Right. I went to an event. I might have told you a story, April. I went to an event at my old boss's house. Big, beautiful home in River Oaks. All right. But I equated wealth at that time in my younger days with the vehicle you drove. At the time, he had a 10-year-old vehicle and this big, beautiful house. I literally thought he rented this house for this cocktail party that we were going. I thought it was a rented house for us to have the company party. Right? So I go in there. Butler answers the door, announces me. I'm saying, he's going all out. All right. He says, Mr. Steve told me to escort you to the study where he's at because he wants to have a conversation with you before everybody gets here. Oh, he's just showing out. That's what I'm thinking. Takes me in there. He has pictures of his family everywhere. I know his family, right? He the man that brought pictures to the event. This is what I'm saying in my head because I'm stuck on the car he drives.
Right.
I'm totally stuck on the car he drives in that frame of mind back then.
Fastest depreciating object you have.
Exactly. But when you're a youngster at that time, you just don't know. All right. So I said, Steve, how much it cost you to rent this house for this party? He said, what are you talking about? He said, this is my home. I said, what do you mean this is your home? You drive a. That was my response. You drive a. So then he says, come follow me. Walk out the side door.
He took you to that garage?
No.
Oh, okay.
He took me outside, says, let me explain something to you so that you will always remember this.
Okay.
I don't care what's in the driveway. I care what the driveway is a part of.
I like that.
I went out and bought a house 2 months later because I understood your value is tied up in your assets.
But you know, what's so important about this, and you alluded to it earlier, Rick, is really the first-time home buyer, is that people who rent oftentimes don't believe that they can own.
That's right.
They don't understand the path to ownership, and they don't understand the larger ramifications from everything to your taxes, to you know, the legacy that you're building from your family, from I'm gonna call it an ideology. Right. That home ownership is so much more than just purchasing the home. It's really a state of mind.
Yeah. That's true.
You're building an asset, an appreciable asset for your family. There's just so many other benefits.
He educated me at that point.
But there's a large percentage of the population who either they have come from a family of nothing but renters and leasers, right? And or they lived in communities where, you know, maybe they were apartment communities, or so they just don't know what home ownership is. And it's so important that we, you know, that we educate them on why home ownership and what it entails and how to do it the right way.
And how you start that conversation?
Because what I try to do with all young people is I try to redefine what getting your own place means.
Okay.
Because if you can redefine that in a young person, because let's just look at what a regular adult evolutionary tract is. You go to high school, you graduate at 17, 18, go off to college and or the military and or trade school. Right. And that's when you get to drinking age. Right. You start voting regularly. And when you do graduate or receive your professional certification or get to 21, 22, 23, the thing that's so important about being able to move into home ownership at that point is that you can still have roommates. You can still have friends live with you in your home and contribute towards you building that nest egg. Because I explained to a lot of, and I don't like to just give a across the board label of millennial. Right. So I always I say my 20-somethings. Right. Because I do think in the mass media, the term millennial is taken sort of a negative connotation. Oh, absolutely. And I don't want to offend anyone. So what I always tell my 20-somethings is by renting, every lease you sign, you're pushing back your potential retirement date.
Oh, wow.
And you're pushing back what your retirement nest egg would be. Because there is a strong percentage of those people, when they're deciding to retire, they also decide which real estate assets to liquidate.
Absolutely.
Because once you get to 65 or above, you can liquidate real estate assets and not pay taxes on them if you structure it correctly.
That's right.
So if you own, and I'm not saying someone who's a really huge real estate investment mogul,
Right.
you can own 2 or 3 rent houses, and through your 20s, 30s, and 40s, you've been just having renters.
Right.
And in your 60s, you can take the appreciated value of them homes, sell them retail, cash out, and then that's your retirement nest egg. So
or you can take equity loans.
even
right.
better.
That's right. That's right.
So, and that's the thing that I talk to 20-somethings about, is that every year you sign that lease, you're pushing back a potential retirement, and you're kind of degrading the opportunity for you to build that nest egg faster, because you know how it is with compound interest.
Right.
It's all about time.
It's all
right.
about time.
That's all it is with compound interest. Time.
And the fact that you are exposing them to that, that's a rarity. I found, I used to say all the time, who told you that? When I was a lender. You know, when somebody would say, well, I can't buy a house. Who told you that? Or people like me don't buy houses. Who told you that? Then I come to find out, when you're in those apartments for so many years, you got that queen bee, and you got that king of the hill, they don't want nobody to leave. They always want to suppress them and keep them pushed down. So that's where that educating those people out of those houses and out of those rental situations really is prevalent. Because I actually met with a lady years ago at her apartment, and the queen bee, she says, I hear you trying to give her a loan. You know she can't pay for no house. She tried to create a negative environment for me to tell this woman no, so she would stay there with her. And that just boggles my mind.
What I've had to, in the last 12 months, especially with the 20-somethings, I've had to start going over exit strategies with them to alleviate those concerns.
Right.
Because, like you say, the only reason a queen bee would advise someone against what it is that you were trying to consult them on would be fear of loss over time.
Right.
So if you can illustrate for them real estate exit strategies,
Right.
something as simple as I had a lady, and we won't go into too much detail, but her husband passed. So the mortgage was more than she could pay by herself.
Right.
And I was lucky that she informed me about it early before the mortgage issue became a real problem.
Right.
I had to explain to her that a member of her family who she trusts can assume her loan
Right.
for a certain amount of time until she's in a position to reassume back her own loan.
Right.
It's totally irresponsible for a real estate professional to allow anyone in their circle to ever lose a home.
Right.
Because in this state particularly, there's way too many ways to help a distressed
Right.
homeowner.
That's true.
So that's one of the things I always focus on with millennials. Sometimes it's the exit strategies, because no one goes over that with these people.
Okay, now see, that's Ric Davis, friend of Real Estate U Show.
Yeah, I'm
and a major
really
contributor.
impressed.
All right. And he impressed April, which is
Well, what I
thumbs
really
up.
liked is that he didn't talk about just the 20-somethings, but I
Right.
mean, it sounds like in that situation, this might have been someone older. We've talked about
Right.
Yes.
someone older
Right.
using a home as an real estate as an asset, a
Yes.
wealth building, I'll call it conditioner.
Yeah.
And then we've also talked to people about people that may be in middle age experiencing a crisis and how there's still an opportunity for them.
Absolutely.
So
Exactly.
there's something for everyone
Right.
with Rick.
Yes.
So that's Ric Davis, Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. And we really appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Time
'cause
flies by fast when you're having fun, folks.
And so that's what we was doing. So Rick, before you leave, give me your website and your phone number.
Absolutely. You can reach me directly at 832-928-3963. I urge everyone to follow me on social media. Follow me on Facebook at Prime Real Estate Rick, and on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick as well. If you would like to email me, you can email me. It's really easy to remember. It's just Prime Real Estate Network Podcast at gmail.com.
There you go. And that's Ric Davis of Brooks and Davis Real Estate. This is Avery Gordon of the Avery Gordon Insurance Agency. I'm E.L. Crane, BRPS title, Brookfield Company. I love saying
A
that.
Brookfield company.
Brookfield Company. Brookfield Company. I told you what we own, right?
Everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
everything. We own everything. I was like, it scared me after that we own so much.
Yeah.
But a Brookfield Company, before we go, You know Heritage Plaza downtown? We own that.
Really?
Yes. The Island Towers, we own that.
Oh, wow.
We try to do what we can.
Stepping in high cotton.
There you go. And they made me the director of education and sales. I fooled them.
Keep fooling them in a
They
good
keep
way.
fooling. Okay, this is E.L. Crane. They are not, but that is the lovely Avery Gordon of the Avery Gordon Insurance Agency. That is Ric Davis of Brooks and Davis Real Estate. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, all social media. Prime Real Estate Rick. Okay.
Absolutely.
Avery Gordon, AGIAHouston.com. And my good friend. That's my good friend.
Yeah, we good friends.
We good
really
friends.
are.
We're really good friends. Stuff like that. And I'm E.L. Crane with VRPS Title. We'll be back next Saturday. We might be on location somewhere.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be on location.
Okay, so tell the good people bye.
Bye, y'all.
No, tell the good people bye.
Good people, bye, y'all.
There.
Thank you for tuning in.
Okay. Bye, people.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM